Do I look like an egg? I think I look like an egg. Hello, we are still in the morning. Good morning, how are you? I do look like an egg. And, you know, what can I do about that? I mainly am coming on here to say that my leggings were so uncomfortable because I'm that bloated, because I'm due on my period, that I had to take them off. I've had to change because I went for baggier trousers, pants. A, it's rather warm out there, and B, the bloating, I can't. Basically, fully aware, here in the US, it is 11:03, 3 minutes past 11. And I'm basically going to have lunch now because I'm hungry. I find it really difficult to kind of do this unconditional allowance of life, let's put it that way. And this is something I've been talking a lot about in therapy, which is like the unconditional permission to XYZ, right? So I spoke about this before, in my therapy, I'm trying to become more flexible, not physically, mentally, although one could really do with becoming more flexible physically. But I'm trying to take away kind of conditions that I have implemented, sorry for the planes, in my life. So there's, having had, you know, suffered with an eating disorder for a large proportion of my life, there's a lot of conditions there that I have to rewire. I also put a lot of time constraints on myself and a lot of deadlines and things like that. So I'm trying to break away from those conditions. And it's really eye-opening when you realize how many conditions we put on ourselves, whether it's that, oh, it's not 12 yet, I can't have lunch, or, oh, I can't like have a glass of wine until I've done this. I'm fully aware that it's not black and white, right? It's not these kinds of constraints and rules or whatever we tell ourselves they are bad, and we shouldn't have any. But it's not that they're good and we should all have them. This is what I'm learning about life. Life is grey, okay? It's not black and white. And so sometimes having these constraints on us, or these conditions, that's kind of what I call them, are good. Sometimes I put conditions on things to push me to do things that I'm scared to do. So it's like a little treat after doing something I'm scared of doing. But on the flip side, they can also be really detrimental. Speaking personally, I can create quite detrimental conditions on things, whether it's that I'm hungry, but I'm not going to allow myself to eat until a certain time. That's not really a positive thing for myself. I don't really know how I got down this rabbit warren of waffling. Classic Laura. But basically, it's 10 past 11. I'm going to have my lunch now. And that's okay. That's basically the crux of it, that we don't have to always put these constraints on things. And I'll try and think of other constraints that I do put on things, because they're not always around food. And I've done, as I say myself, I've done a reasonably good job at like breaking away at rules that I had when I was in my eating disorder. But there are still these rules that are really common and normalized that aren't normal, but they're so common we think they are, around food. And then I also have other conditions that I put around things that aren't food related. So when I think of them, I'll tell you, but they're so normal to me, I don't realize they're detrimental. Does that make sense?